Hi everyone. So let's talk about how we organize learning in our classrooms. As a pre-service teacher, I was taught about collaborative learning, but as a new teacher, I quickly learned that my idea of collaborative learning was sitting students in group to do work that they could do individually. It really takes a lot of expertise and thought to develop strong collaborative learning opportunities. And for students who are multilingual, those opportunities are critical and really important for their success in the classroom. Our classrooms tend to be far too silent and far too focused on whole group instruction, which is something that multilingual learners can easily get lost in or fall through the cracks in. One of my colleagues, Dr. Anila Tiamant, recently did a study where she observed 85 classrooms for a 30-minute observation. And across those observations, she found that only 13.6% of the time, students were working in small groups. And 82.6% of the time across her observations was spent on whole group activities. Also during these observations, she found that 0% of their time was spent on evaluation activities, 14% on synthesis, 0.06 on analysis, 18% on application, and 19% on comprehension. By far the largest amount of time was spent on basic knowledge. It was 43% of the time. In this study, teachers valued teacher talk, student silence, compliance, individual work, artificial tasks, following procedures, knowing facts, copying and repeating, and isolated words and ideas. The kinds of classrooms that Dr. Tiamant observed are what we can call classrooms of the common tradition, or what some have labeled cemetery model classrooms. These classrooms can look like collaborative classrooms because students may be set in groups, just like in my classrooms as a new teacher. However, they are actually still very teacher-centered classrooms. In these types of classrooms, teachers make assignments, usually from text or lecture. Students attempt to master assignments individually. Students are expected to recite facts in either writing or orally. The class is dominated by whole class lecture or instruction, and the teacher is viewed as the only teacher in the classroom and holds the power in the classroom. So what's missing from these kind of classrooms? Sustained opportunities for language use. This is fundamentally important for bilingual learners to be able to have the opportunities to read, write, listen, and speak, and engage with content. Purposeful interaction and negotiating of meaning is missing. Rich and varied multiple types of comprehensible input, both text and oral. Ongoing assessment of student learning. In these kind of classrooms, teachers often float, but they end up managing behavior versus scaffolding learning, or collecting data on student learning to inform their instruction. Teacher peer assistance is missing in these kind of classrooms, and there's also a missing focus on higher order thinking and academic language. So in this module, we're introducing you to a system of instruction based on the 6 standards of effective pedagogy. These standards can transform teaching from the cemetery model to a classroom where teachers and students are producing together to engage with real questions and solve real problems. Activities are rich in language and are designed to develop academic language skills. Activities are meaningfully related to students' lives and experiences. These classrooms are classrooms where teachers challenge students to apply their learning in complex ways to solve meaningful problems. Primary teaching interaction is based on conversation rather than lecture. A variety of learning activities happen simultaneously in the classroom. Students have systematic opportunities to work with all of their other classmates. And students learn and demonstrate self-control and common values such as a hard work ethic, helpfulness to others, and mutual respect. And all students have access to learning and are held to high expectations regardless of their race, language, or socioeconomic background. Now, does that sound like your classroom or your vision of an ideal classroom? Certainly, this is the classroom that I strive to create in my teaching. However, I'm not perfect at it either, but I've certainly found that these 6 standards have helped me move much further towards that ideal that I hold of a great classroom and a great classroom learning environment. So we're hoping that by focusing on these 6 standards of pedagogy, we're giving you tools to help you move towards that type of classroom as well. These standards were developed over years of research and are grounded in strong theory, sociocultural theory, They're intended to create really positive learning opportunities for all the students in your classroom and to allow for meaningful differentiation for students, all the students you work with. What research has established is that teachers who put 3 or more of these standards into place consistently across their practice have higher student outcomes than teachers who don't. And one of the things that teachers do say is like, well, I can't do this all of the time. And no, you can't. 100% of your time will not be focused on all 6 standards. But if you're consistently putting 3 or more of them into practice at very high levels, it's very likely that your students are going to benefit quite substantially. At least that's what the research suggests. These standards provide a lot of opportunities for teachers and really integrate well with a lot of our contemporary initiatives like differentiation, the WIDA standards, the Next Generation Science standards, Common Core state standards. A lot of the current initiatives that we have right now these are the tools that will help you meet the expectations of those different initiatives, even in terms of how teachers are evaluated. So essentially, these standards can help transform your classroom and teaching and learning for both you and your students in really positive and meaningful ways. So we're really excited to have this chance to get to share them with you. Thank you.